mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin, who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the total monk from a distant land, who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock, sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And Gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain, and this is the Tomb of Annihilation, Chult of Personality, happening Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Mini-Terrain Domain. And it looks like, as seems to be happening every time we launch, as soon as we launch, we get low signal quality. So just a heads up. I'm going to be monitoring the signal strength of the stream, and if for some reason we get to a point where it's so bad that it's buffering and we have to stop the stream, we are going to continue playing. We'll record it to VOD. I'm in the process of getting all of the VODs, the backlog uploaded, taking advantage of quarantine time. But I want you to know that if we lose that, then we'll get you back up to speed. Now, with Myth and Gears getting the meta subscription in there, first of all, thank you, Kaeryn. That's a good jumping off point to explain to you what domain devils or domain dice are. In this game, we call them domain devils. If you look right below me, you'll see those devils, much like the one I'm wearing on my shirt here, the one right here, and you'll see another one up here. And Dwight dropping some bits in there. You know what? That was 400 bits, but somebody in a previous stream, nope, Dwight just made it up to you. He dropped another 100 in there, giving it that full domain devil. So that's how they work. You can do subscriptions, you can do resubscriptions, you can cheer with 500 bits, or you can tip $5 in our Dawnbringers game. The patron saint of domain dice last Thursday awarded the Dawnbringers with 10 domain dice in one shot, and they burned through all of them in that one shot. Wow, the Wildmount one shot. So it's a way that you, the viewer, can participate in the stream by letting them have these domain dice that allow them to re-roll a d20, force me to re-roll a d20, get some healing outside of a rest, turn a failed death saving throw into a successful one unless it's a critical failure. It's going to take 8 of those domain dice. And then for 5 domain dice, you can turn any hit into a super crit. That is an automatic max double damage. So that's how domain dice work. Couple of announcements real quick. First of all, a huge thank you to D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond has granted us insider access, which means that all Mini-Terrain Domain Dungeons & Dragons games are powered by D&D Beyond. So you can mouse over the stream and you can see the characters pop up on the left-hand side, see where they are for hit points. You can even click on their icons and see the actual character sheets and the way they've built their characters, what they're playing. They just recently hit level 13. And I always have multiple tabs open of D&D Beyond for managing the games as a dungeon master. And we'll be taking advantage of their new combat tracker. Should that arise tonight, I will be using that. But it's a great tool and you should check it out. If you look in the lower left-hand corner below M there, you will see the 2 logos for Jasper's Game Day and Initiative Coffee Company. I'm going to type in the code word here, if I can spell it right. Jasper's Game Day is a wonderful charity that was started here in West Michigan by Fenway, the Teen DM, and it is dedicated to raising awareness of and elimination of suicide through tabletop gaming. Just a couple years old. This charity has done amazing things. Funds that are raised, for instance, if you click on that link that is in the chat right now, you'll be taken to a direct PayPal donation link. Any money that you donate to Jasper's Game Day will, of course, go to benefit crisis centers, suicide crisis centers around the country. If you it's not working. Okay, sorry, sidetracked for a moment by internet weirdness. If you would like a different way to donate and get a little something for yourself, you can follow this link here where you can get Mitade roast coffee. It is a wonderful medium Brazilian and Peruvian roast coffee in partnership with Initiative Coffee Company. For every 12-ounce bag that we sell of this, $3 of your purchase price will go to Jasper's Game Day. Jasper's Game Day, you're going to be hearing a lot about from me in the coming weeks. In just 3 weeks, we are going to be kicking off the amazing, we're going to be kicking off an amazing Jasper's game week, 1 week of streaming with just absolutely incredible things that are happening. First off, in the chat, I have just dropped a link where you can participate in a raffle that we are raising money for. There is a D&D Beyond Legendary Bundle that is up for just $5. You can enter to win that. You could try to get into a seat with Sean Merwin's game. There's some limited edition aluminum level up dice. You could get into Stefan Pokorny, the founder of Dwarven Forge. He's running an AD&D 2nd edition game during Stream Week, and you could get a seat at that. We're giving away some D&D books, some Adventures League certs. There is, from Talon and Claw, a handmade wooden DM screen. An RPG Writer's Workshop from Ashley Warren. All kinds of amazing stuff. Follow that link. Check it out. We also, of course, have up for auction some seats available to play. This is ridiculous. Chris Perkins of Wizards of the Coast, is running a game of Dungeons and Dragons right here on this channel during that stream week. And the auction is live right now. You can bid on one of 5 seats that are available to be a player in a Chris Perkins game. We've got games run by Todd Stashwook, who is a Hollywood television actor, writer, director. And in that game will be Scooby-Doo Shaggy. Matthew Lillard will be playing in that game. We've got games by Sean Merwin, Lisa Penrose, Satine Phoenix, B. Dave Walters. Oh yeah, I'm running a game that week. Lots of great stuff going on, and we are looking at already, as a matter of fact, we've already beaten last year's fundraising goal just with these auctions and raffles. All of that money going to this amazing cause. And regardless if you don't participate in any of this, there is a week, 12 hours a day for 1 week at the beginning of May, where there'll be nothing but 60 hours of Dungeons and Dragons happening right here from noon to midnight Eastern. So we do hope to see you there. And if you can, to support the charity, we will be giving away all kinds of prizes as we hit different goals throughout that week. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But the one thing that is important to remember about all of this is what the purpose is. It's about suicide awareness and suicide prevention. And mental health is something that is extremely important to me. It's extremely important to Mini Terrain Domain, and in all of the games that I run, I think I can fairly speak for everybody when I say that we are all strong supporters of mental health and you reaching out and getting the help you need. It can be a struggle, particularly in these weird times we're in right now with quarantine, with COVID-19, all of this stuff. It's a weird time. Things are just nuts and major adjustments for a lot of people. And I know for myself, anxiety is higher, depression is higher. So it's important to get help. And it's important to know to not be afraid to get that help, because no matter what is going on and whether or not you believe this, your presence on this earth makes a difference. You matter. I'll say it every time I do a stream. I say those words, and I mean it every time. But if you're struggling with that, there is help available by simply typing ! Maybe if I spell it correctly, ! Help into the chat. We don't even have to be streaming. You can just come to twitch.tv/miniterraindomain, type this in the chat, and this information will pop up. In the United States, you can call the National Suicide Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. If you are a veteran or a member of the armed forces, you can dial 1 after calling that number and be connected with a military or veteran specialist counselor. If you would prefer to text, you can do so at 741-741. If you are among our friends in Canada, such as all 4 of my players here with us tonight, you can reach the crisis text line by texting the word connect for English or parler for French to 686-868. Or you can call the Canada Suicide Prevention Services in French or English, toll free at 1-833-456-4566. Finally, if you are among our many friends located around the world, you can simply click on the link that is there at the bottom of that text command, or if you're just listening, following along later and you can't see the link, you can go to opencounseling.com/suicide-hotlines. Tons of resources for countries all around the world. And that information is in the scroll along with some domain dice info constantly. The entire game for the next 2.5-3 hours, that'll be there. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you need help. All right, with all of that said, I think I've covered all of our announcements for tonight. So we are going to get back into our Chult of Personality campaign with episode 65, Grinding Gears. In our previous sessions, these adventurers have managed to make their way through the jungles of Chult in search of, for many of them, in search of the source of the death curse that plagues the realms. A curse that is preventing people from being resurrected. And people that have previously been resurrected, they are finding that they are starting to die. The adventurers have learned that something called the Soulmonger is the source of this. They battled their way to the tomb of the 9 gods in the heart of the lost city of Umo, deep in the jungles of Chult. Made their way inside, and for who knows how long, some of them, it seems like it's only been days. For others, they know it's been at least a year or more. Time seems to work in a very weird way in this place, but they know that for at least a number of days, they have been making their way through the multiple levels. They have passed through the rotten halls, the dungeon of deception, the Vault of Reflection, and the Chamber of Horrors, all of which had riddle-like clues left behind by the architect of the tomb, Acererak himself. But now, climbing through a hole in the bottom of that fourth level, they find themselves in the Gears of Hate. Peering between cracks in the walls, they have managed to see that each of these hexagonal rooms, that one of which they've landed in, they can see that it rests in the middle of a large underground lake on what appears to be a massive stone and metal gear. 2 entrances or exits lead out of this hexagon, which is filled with compost everywhere, and some sort of 6-foot-tall sprinkler in the center of the room. 1 exit to the west, slightly northwest, and 1 exit to the south, slightly southwest. They made their way down there, where they saw a slanted room, a curtain, some markings, and they triggered a rolling construct that was actually something created by Acererak and called Napaka. In one of their previous puzzle rooms, Taliel had procured the adamantine scepter that sole purpose was to destroy Napaka. And that is where we left off, as Taliel destroyed Napaka, the construct, in a shower of dust and stone. And they recovered a massive ruby from within the fist of a gargoyle that Taliel recognized right away as the Eye of Zaltek. What her and her previous adventuring party, the Company of the Yellow Banner, had been searching for so long. And that is where we pick up after the destruction of the construct Napaka and Taliel's realization. Adventurers, what would you like to do?
Cry for a bit because we're really far away from home. You know, just lament how far we've gone. All the people we've lost. Now, Palu is looking quite puzzled at Taliel and her sudden superhero blow of this iron scepter just obliterated this massive war machine in just literally a swat, as if like hitting a fly in the air. And it was disturbing to see such strength come from such a small creature like Taliel. And he wonders whether or not he could do the same thing. Perhaps the vehicle itself is just, held together by good intentions.
After that, after giving Taliel the ruby, I would probably want to kind of go up the ramp where the machine came, where the construct came from. Pardon me, and then kind of head through whatever area and kind of scout ahead, see if I could find if there's anything down, if it's a hallway or if it was just if this is kind of like a dead end area.
So you head up the slant and you can see where the wall broke through, or where the construct broke through the wall. There was another alcove of about 15 feet by 10 feet where this construct was parked. There are no other entrances or exits, no other passages. It appears as if this entire chamber served as nothing more than a trap for those coming in and exploring the tomb, and was also the holding place of the Eye of Zaltek, which, beyond why finding it here, you don't know why it was here. As a reminder, you are all, the entrance into this room was a 5-foot wide hallway that was some 50 feet straight to the south. There was blood, words written in blood across the ceiling and floor that said, "Awaken Napaka," as you headed into this area. And before you headed down here, through the gap in this entranceway, you could see to the west, there was a circular sort of stone tower that rose to the ceiling in this lake, and there was a small dock and some rowboats somewhere on the other side of the walls here to the west. So what do you want to do?
I think Brilinya during this time has kind of been comforting Taliel, just resting her hand on Taliel's shoulder until she's done, just kind of not saying anything, but just kind of being that comforting, having that person there. And then after, once Taliel has finished, Brilinya will just kind of weakly say, you know, I feel kind of lost without those riddles given to us by Sararak.
Yeah, and Taliel at that kind of sniffles, you know, she's pulling herself together, and she looks up at you. Yeah, they were kind of a comfort in this horrible place. I hope we can. I know we can. We can do this without them.
Right.
I have, and she looks at the ruby in her hand. I have gotten what I needed to do and why I came here in the first place, but if what you have told me is true, I can't use this now. It's useless until we figure out why people can't be resurrected anymore. Why people are dying.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's nothing is going to be much use. By the way, what is that?
Oh, this is the Eye of Zaltak. I'm unsure of the entire ritual. My commander knew more about that than I did, but we were charged with finding this because it would help bring back. And then at this point, she holds up the ghost lantern that she's had this entire time too. There's an elven warlock trapped inside this lantern called the Starfallen. The eye will bring it back. That's why we were here. We were looking for this ruby to save this poor warlock. They all lost their lives for this.
Well, then it is up to us to make sure that their journey is sought through to the end. It's the best we can give them.
Thank you.
I agree. Maybe this warlock could be persuaded to help us if we bring them back. Do you think that could happen?
But I thought resurrection magic was no longer working.
If it's something else with that involves a ruby, we know nothing of the way to complete this ritual. Right, well, then for the time being, we'll protect both the ruby and the lantern with our lives. We'll carry on. Defeat Acerak, bring your friend back, and I could go get that. We'll start that bee. That bee. I'm still opening up that apiary. Yeah, gonna raise bees and make honey and. Yeah. Gonna raise bees and make honey. 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 And. Yeah. Make mead. Everyone loves mead.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. Get a nice little place right by a lake, maybe with a waterfall or something, Don't know why. It's got to be better than here. Anyone's got to be better than here. You go through the sewers of Waterdeep. It's got to be better than here.
Taliel, are you guys having this conversation back in that hallway? That narrow hallway that was out of this big ramped area?
Yeah, I imagine we're still having it right where amongst the debris of that construct.
Make me a perception check at advantage.
That'll be a 17.
When you pull out the ghost lantern to show the others, the rest of you just see this mysterious looking lantern with a faint greenish bluish glow. But Taliel, you can see this spectral elven woman inside. You've always been able to see her whenever you hold the lantern. But as you hold it up now, near the entrance to this narrow hallway where you entered into this sort of trap chamber area, you see that the cobwebs and spider webs that were hanging seem to be glowing almost a purplish color. It's very much like if a black light was held up. And you notice that about 10 feet up the hallway on the west side of the wall, none of you are there, but there is a strand of cobweb that is hanging down and is some sort of breeze seems to be causing it to sway in the hallway.
Wait a second. What is that? And you see Taliel, she gets up and almost like she kind of forgets you guys are there. She's holding the lantern and she's heading towards where that cobweb is blowing. I'm gonna look at the walls there.
Give me an investigation check at advantage.
13.
13?
Yeah.
You, as you're sort of looking and feeling, you catch just the faintest, as you see this cobweb sort of, you catch just the faintest sense of cool air coming from just an almost microscopic gap between the bricks in the wall. It seems as though there may be some kind of secret entrance along this wall.
I think there's something here. There's a breeze coming anyway. There's got to be something on the other side of this wall.
Brilinya would come.
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. I was going to say I'll start heading over to provide some sort of protection if need be.
All right. So, are you trying to open the wall?
Yes.
All right, 1 second. So if you're watching with us live, we are about to drop the stream. Unfortunately, the load on the internet from everybody in the world being home at once, and apparently on the internet right now, is just too much. I'm monitoring what you're trying to watch. It's buffering constantly. So with that in mind, we are going to stop the live stream, but we are going to continue to play this session all the way through. and record it to VOD. So within the next week or so, it will be uploaded with all the others to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/mini-terrain-domain.
Wait, I have a plan. I'm gonna turn the Wi-Fi off on my phone. That should probably help.
It's not working.
Thanks for doing the good work, Mike.
Hey,
I mean, Michigan is in close proximity to Canada, but not that close, especially not to where you are. So
yeah, I was gonna say, not that part of Canada, Mike.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and unfortunately, thank you everybody who did tune in with us. Sorry you won't be able to continue watching with us, but I think looking at the numbers, most people were leaving anyway. All right, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to stop streaming, but we're still recording. Okay, that sucks. But we'll continue on. I'm going to close this out. There'll be less of that.
Also, I still can't use poopy words. That's too bad.
Okay.
That means we can swear now, right?
You always could.
But like, could we really though?
I mean, gosh darn it.
Oh dar.
I was on a bus.
The freaking internet.
I was on a bus.
That poopy internet.
And I was coming home from work one day, and I work. That's when I work construction, and I was listening to these two teenage girls talk, and I was half expecting they were complaining about something, and I was half expecting just a tirade because they were talking about some other girl who was, I don't know, gossip, whatever. And at one point, I'm like, no, here it comes. She's gonna get angry and drop that F-bomb. She sure did. She said, "Oh, fiddlesticks." And I'm not going to lie. I literally turned around and had to look. And then she looked at me like, "Oh, sorry." And I'm like, what is this? The 19th century? Goodness, woman. But yeah, that really threw me. I never would have guessed anyone still used that word outside of, in the 80s or 90s year olds. Yeah.
All right, so we'll go ahead and continue as if we were live streaming. I just want to get that out on the tweet. All right, so Taliel, you start pushing on the wall. I believe, Vale, you said that you were sort of standing at the ready just in case. You push on the wall, and a section of the wall does indeed slide aside, revealing a 40-foot long, 5-foot wide hallway extending to the west.
I think at this point, because of what I've just seen from this lantern, I would shine the lantern down the hall.
You are seeing a little bit of this hallway seems to have a little bit of that same gray slimy substance on the floor that you've seen in other rooms, including that construct room. But other than that, no cobwebs are in here, nothing like that. You do catch a faint scent of it's more of a musty sort of dampness.
You said it was a 40.
It's 40 foot, and at the end of the 40 feet, it appears to take a sharp turn to the north.
Is north the direction that tower would be in? Or
if you moved west, which you just did, if you go down this hallway, then north seems to be, based on what you saw, this could put you in close proximity to where you saw that stone tower.
I think I would just look back at the rest of the group and then start walking. Like, it kind of almost give them a nod, and then I'm start walking down the hall.
All right, you walk 40 feet and you see that the turn to the right leads another 30 feet to the north. A little bit more of that gray sort of slimy ooze on the ground, and you find yourself in a 15-foot diameter circular structure. Immediately to the right is a door. To the left, let's see, what is that area? To the left, or rather straight in front of you, and ascending up and around to the left, is a set of stairs. This is very much looks like the spiral staircase that you found outside of the tomb dwarf's office, about 3 levels up, with the exception of there being a door on your right.
And so there's the stairs up and there's door to the right, and that's the only other exits in this room.
Yes. Before you go, well, actually, let me do this. As you are moving through here, this tight confines of moving towards this, all of you get this sense of deep foreboding. Something feels very dangerous. It's as if the danger of everything that you're doing weighs in on you. And as a group, all of you will take 6 points of psychic damage. That sense seems to vanish as you are all standing tightly in this 15-foot, at the base of these stairs in this little 15-foot circular area next to this door. The door opens to the right, to the east.
As the rest approach, Taliel will indicate both the stairs up and then the door, or through there.
Sorry, did you say you were going through the door?
No, she was just
Okay.
indicating to the others the 2 options.
The door is made of stone and appears to have iron hinges and a knob made of brass.
Well, there's only one way through it. I'm going to walk up to the door, look at the others. Does it open in or out? So in other words, like towards me or away from me?
It would open away from you.
Oh, so like into the room or into wherever beyond kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it'll open out into wherever it goes.
All right. Maybe if you all get yourselves ready, I'll throw open the door, then jump out of the way. Anything comes out, we could at least get the upper hand on them. All right. On 3, and then I just open the door and kick it out of the way.
You're going to open the door and kick it out of the way.
Well, like kind of unlatch it, and then kind of kick it open, kind of move out of the way, kind of, so I'm not in anyone's like line of fire.
All right.
Check your arcs.
Yep. You kick open the door, and you immediately see that you are looking down a set of steps that lead to a small wooden dock with 2 rowboats attached to it. There appears to be some sort of winch-like mechanism and some sort of cave. There are broken crab shells all over these stairs and this little dock. You can also see out that you're looking at the what appears to be the direction you came from originally, some sort of stone wall, a room large in size, resting atop a stone gear. Now, I know I don't have to tell you guys this, but as a reminder, this is the point where I feel comfortable showing you the map of this level. You've seen enough of it that I'll trust you not to metagame beyond what you've seen, but I think the best way to get this picture across to you is to allow you to see where you are. Welcome to the Gears of Hate. You are in that tower to the left, and there is that little wooden dock. The big green gear in the middle is where you dropped in. You went down to the south into that area moving west to east is where the construct was. And then you went down that access way to the tower. So that is where you are now. What would you like to do?
I would like to fawn over this map for a moment. That is a pretty map. Like, I'm not gonna lie, whoever designed this map, yes, that is
especially after
nice.
all of those just stone locked, the last four stone locked areas of the dungeon you were passing through. This is pretty intense.
Well, just all the boxiness, like just the standard boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is just so refreshing.
Yeah, and these massive gears, Taliel had already pointed out to all of you that they appear to be residing in some sort of massive underground lake. So with that in mind, what I'll do is, I think I can do this. I'm going to bring us back to the overlay, and then I will bring up a version of this so that you can see it. I'll put it in our chat so that you can reference if you need to. I can always go back to it too, but I don't want to leave it on there constantly.
So I think seeing the fact that the dock is down there, Taliel immediately like, we're in the tower, and she kind of at that point her attention goes up the stairs, and she's looking up that way. And how high does the stairs go before, like, is there a door somewhere up at the top of the stairs, or does it just kind of spiral all the way up?
Are you going to go up them? Because it's a spiral, you'd have to go up to even see where it goes. You've seen the similar staircase all the way up on the second level outside of that dwarves office.
So where we're in right now, like, it's not open all the way up, right? The stairs kind of disappear into the roof. Is that how it's?
Yeah, they go up through a passage. I mean, like I said, you'd have to walk up and around several times before you could see where exactly they go. I don't know why that went in twice, but there you go.
I think she would start towards the stairs and start climbing up unless somebody stops her.
All right, give me a second. So, you climb for a little ways, and after about, find it here. Even though we're not streaming, I'm still dealing with the internet on my end as I'm loading stuff up. One moment, here we go. Exploring the tomb. Then that would be So, you ascend about 20 feet, 25 feet, and you arrive at a door. And the door is on the... No, you arrive at an open hallway, actually. You see a 20-foot hallway extending to the west. It appears to end in a dead end. And the stairs continue up.
Interesting. Did the others follow me, or am I on my own at this point?
I don't think Brilinya would have followed, but she is waiting at the base of the stairs for any word.
I think Qualu will go up with you, Taliel. So Vale can stay with Brilinya.
Okay, I look at Qualu and I shine the light down the hallway that looks like it ends in a dead end, and then I kind of indicate that I'm going up some more, and I will continue to climb the stairs.
I'll be close behind, kind of watching your back.
You climb about another 25 feet, and there is a door that opens to the south.
So I am going to listen at the door.
And the stairs do continue upward.
Oh, and they go up more. Okay.
Let's see where this is. You're listening at the door.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Oh, that's an 11.
You do not hear anything.
I look to Qualu, make sure he's ready, and then I go to open the door.
You go to the door. Oh, interesting. Okay. You open this door, and let's see, you went to here. I got opening multiple tabs as I look. Here we go. You open the door, and you see that you are standing at the tip of a small room. The room is 15 feet at its widest, 10 feet in front of you. But the sides extend up about 5 feet and then towards you at an angle. To your right, there is a rusty lever set in the wall. Directly in front of you, a section of stone appears to be magically enchanted to become transparent. Looking through it, you can see into the rock tumbler trap. On the floor, you see pieces of shattered stone that you recognize as belonging to the earth elemental that Brilinya frequently summoned. And you also see the ripped, rended, and torn limbs and body of a tomb guardian that was standing here, operating the lever. You can surmise that you are on level 3, the Vault of Reflection, where you went through that rock tumbler trap. And Brilinya had seen through the walls to this chamber and used that information to summon her earth elemental into this space to deal with the tomb guardian. There is to the right a small crawlway that leads in and immediately turns north. It's a very tight fit, like some of the other crawlways you have traveled through, or the stairs continue upward.
I think at this point, kind of seeing where this has gone, Taliel will close that door again. She'll turn back to Qualu and say, this could be our way out once we're done. It looks like we can just climb this all the way back up to the top level.
This is good news.
Let's go back down.
All right.
Very good, very good.
You head back down. Brilinya and Vale, while they're heading up the stairs, all of this is probably going to take them about 10 minutes. What would you do as you're standing here with this open door looking at this dock?
I think I would probably turn to Brilinya and say, before they get back, maybe we should have a look at these boats, make sure they're safe. How are you holding up?
I can't think about anything but getting through this. It's too much to think about the past right now. Or even after this, for that matter.
No, I suppose you're right. I don't know. I know this is something serious, and I know that we're obviously in a very tight situation, but I don't know. I feel like this isn't going to be the last of us here. You know? I feel like there's more to it. So
I really hope you're right. She kind of smiles, but you can see that she's not maybe fully convinced of that.
And I'll probably be smiling as I start walking towards the dock. I'll say, I know it's terribly cheesy to say that I've got faith, and I think that's probably equally as terrible saying that to you, given the present situation. But yeah, I guess I do have a little bit of faith. Something or someone is watching out for both of us. Well, and Taliel, not so sure about Qualu, but it's all right. We'll keep an eye on them ourselves. I think we're going to do this no matter what. I know things seem bad, but I don't know. Just feel like part of us we're doing this something that's greater for the whole world, right? All of this place. And it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. And for the first time in a long time since we've come here, I feel confident. I feel like we can do this, together. But we've got this.
Did you walk out on the dock as you're saying all this?
No, I would probably stop just before the dock. I'm not just
going
to.
You went through the door and you're walking down those stairs and.
Yeah, a little bit.
Are you with him, Brilinya?
He's nope, not if he's going to set off that trap you're about to tell us about.
Imagine just Vale giving this great speech and then all of a sudden gets eaten by some horrific monster.
The whole dungeon is a mimic.
Yeah. I don't think Brilinya would come out fully because she's still gonna keep an ear out in case they call or anything like that. So she wants to kind of be halfway in between the stairs and Vale.
So Vale, as you head out and start kind of walking down these stairs, there's many pieces of phosphorescent crab cracking, their shells cracking under your feet. All over these stairs are these just fragments, shattered pieces of phosphorescent crab shell. On this small dock at the bottom, you see that there is what appears to be, on the north side of the dock, a rusty looking cage of some sort, big enough to hold two people. The winch mechanism looks like it would lower who or whatever is in the cage down into the water. You can see 20 feet down to the lake bed that there appears to be about a dozen of these phosphorescent crabs glowing and shimmering in the moving water, moving in and about the muck. This looks as though it might be some sort of diving cage. On the south side of the dock, lightly clattering against the dock and each other, are two wooden rowboats. But each of the rowboats have names emblazoned on the side. One says Predator. The other says Prey. Each rowboat looks like it's big enough to hold 4 people. Each rowboat has 2 oars, an empty wooden bucket, and a 50-foot long coil of hempen rope that is tying it off to the dock. What would you like to do?
Suddenly get a lot more paranoid, which I believe is a free action.
Sure.
I'll probably stop, kind of have a look, like just kind of as everything kind of comes into focus. I'll probably stop talking too. Well, I don't think we're out of the danger yet. I'm gonna walk over to the cage, and I would like to examine that cage.
As soon as you step off of the stairs onto the wooden dock, the door slams shut. Brilinya, right next to you, this door suddenly slams shut. The brass handle that was momentarily or previously in the door suddenly recedes into the door. Vale, hearing the door slam, you glance at it, and you see in the face of the door a monstrous mouth appears on the surface of it. You hear as it says, "I'm so hungry, I could eat you alive, but I'll settle for something else. Something living, something light. Feed me." And it licks its lips.
It's a mouth on a door.
Yes, it is.
And I'm standing far enough away from the door.
You, having descended down to the dock, are about 8 feet away.
No, you know what? This thing's probably got like a 75-foot tongue or something absolutely damn ridiculous like that. So,
Gimme.
All right.
Something living, something light, or I'll eat
yeah.
you.
Yeah, no, I get it. You want some crabs, right?
Crabs.
I'll take that as a yes, I think. You've been down here for a while, haven't you? Probably lost any lick of sense you had left in you.
Feed me, or I'll eat you.
Yeah, I'm going. Just relax, calm down. Oh, God, being ordered about by a bloody dog, piece of furniture. All right, I'm gonna walk over to the water. Can I gauge distance? How far down to where these little bastards are?
It's about 20 feet from what you can tell.
Can I have a look at the? I'd like to have a quick look at the. Still go ahead and have a look at the cage. Are there any scratch marks? Are there any bite marks? Are there any? Is there anything on there that's like, hey, buddy, maybe you should get in the goddamn cage and hop on in the water because jaws and shit.
Looking at the cage, it looks like there's a rusty iron gate that opens up on the side and up to 2 people could fit inside it. It also looks like the winch on the dock would have to be operated by somebody else, potentially.
Of course.
To lower it down into the water.
Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kneel down on the dock, and I'm going to put my one good arm into the water, and I want to see if I can pull my arm out again, because I'm I'm just paranoid, and I'm thinking, why do I just have this feeling that if I go down, I won't be able to come back up again? Just
so you're going to reach your hand into the water.
Yeah, it's like that damn like Ewoks movie has got me so freaking paranoid of that stupid lake, and like Buddy can't even you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. For you youngins, go see the Ewoks movie. It's from the 80s. It's terrible, but
So you crouch down and you have to pretty much lay on your stomach to reach down into the water with your good arm. You plunge your arm down into the water and immediately are hit with just this cold, almost icy cold water. But beyond that, nothing seems to happen.
Okay, give me one quick sec here. Okay. God, Jesus. I'm going to take off my pack, set it on the dock, make sure everything's good there, and fuck it, I'm going to hop in. Jump right in. Armor, everything.
Sploosh.
Sploosh, indeed. I'm going to dive down. I'm going to grab me one of them damn crabs.
Okay. So I would like a strength athletics check from you at disadvantage as you are swimming with one arm.
Okay. That's still a 14.
All right, that's good enough. Good enough. So you're swimming down. The water is cold, but you can clearly see glowing with a sort of greenish blue hue these phosphorescent crabs down at the bottom. And after a moment, you reach the muck down at the bottom, and you're going to grab a crab or 2 or 3. What are you going to try to do?
I'll grab 2 crabs. So I'll grab one. Swim up, take a breath, throw it on the dock, upside down.
So
actually, no, that won't work either. No, I'll just grab 2 crabs in some fashion or other.
You are able to grab 2 crabs, and you swim up to the surface. Roll me any die of your choice. Any single die, and tell me what the result is.
Is one better than another?
The chances of it coming to a favorable result are probably better.
No worries. I'm going to roll a d4.
Okay.
Because I'm hard like that, I guess. Oh, and I got a 4.
All right.
And I'm dead.
As you emerge to the surface with these couple of crabs, and you sort of awkwardly begin to pull yourself up. You pull up onto the surface, and as soon as you come up on the dock, you get this sense that you're not alone. Besides the magical door and the crabs. And the rowboats suddenly start going as waves are pushing them harder. And at the end of the dock, you see this massive form sort of arc up a little bit. It has no eyes, no mouth. You watch as a sort of half tentacle, half fin thing curls up around the edge of the dock, coiling around part of it as some sort of large creature is emerging from the water. And as it does so, it let me find it. I just switched. I have so many tabs open right now. Here we go. So it's this. You rolled a 4, you said?
Correct, on a D4.
Oh,
I don't know
okay. I'm glad I double checked that. As this creature curls its fin up around, you watch as part of this sort of tentacle-like fin moves across the dock towards you a little bit. And in your mind, you hear a voice. Hello. Who are you? Are you here to be friends with me? I've been down here for so long, and you distinctly hear a child's voice in your mind.
Right. Well, pardon me. I could be. I will say that I do have to go feed this door here, but I'd like to talk with you. If that's all right with you. What's your name?
I am called Galirul.
So, I'm sorry, what?
I am called Galirul.
Galirul.
Yes.
Oh, well, it's very nice to meet you. My name is Vale.
The bad man sometimes calls me the lurker in the lake.
Well, that doesn't sound very nice at all. Who's this bad man? He sounds like an absolute tosspot.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I'm not going to really explain that to you. But
the bad man is
bad
very
man.
Powerful.
I bet he is. But
he
know what?
He has bones for a face.
Yeah, I can well imagine. He probably would have bones for a face. Well, we'll break those bones if we have to. Listen, anyway, give me 1 second. All right, door, and I'll just run up and I'll throw one of the crabs in the door. At the door.
You throw the crab up, and instantly the mouth, and you hear the crunching, and then pieces of phosphorescent shell are spit out. That just hit the spot. And the magical mouth recedes. Brilinya, on your end, you see the brass doorknob suddenly reappear. The door swings open.
I imagine during this time, Brilinya is pounding on the door and also calling up to Taliel and Qualu for help.
Yeah, so you definitely would hear the commotion from downstairs, the two of you.
Yeah, I think we were already on our way down, and then we start hearing this, the noise and Brilinya yelling and the banging on the door, so I believe we'd be running. down the last of the flights of stairs until we're back down to the floor.
All right, and then it's right about the time you are coming down that you see the you see the door swings open, and as it swings open, you see Vale standing at the bottom of the stairs, and you see something else at the end of the dock that seems to be sort of almost leaning up on the edge of the dock. And in a moment here, I'm going to share with you. There we go. I got it working. You see is that not working? You see this. And it has one of its tentacled fin things curled around the end of the dock as it is looking at you. And the rest of you, as you come out, you all hear in your mind, "Oh, poor people. Hello." You all hear this childlike voice in your mind. Don't be afraid of me.
It's okay, Galirul. It's okay. It's okay. They're just friends. We're actually here to stop the bad man from being bad. So it's okay. It's okay. Hey, and you know what? Maybe you're afraid right now. I get that. It's okay. But you know, we're okay. We're not gonna harm you at all. So how'd you get down here anyway?
The bad man put me down here long ago. Me and the Dark One.
You and the Dark One.
Sometimes I go to sleep for a really long time and the Dark One swims around in my place. But sometimes the Dark One sleeps and I get to play. But it's so boring down here.
Well,
but now
fair, I understand. Oh,
I have friends.
True. Very true.
Hello, new friends. I am Galiru. Who are you?
Brilinya kind of steps forward. I imagine we all kind of like tumble in after the door is open. Brilinya stands. It looks to Vale as in like very unsure, but answers. Hello, Galirul. My name is Brilinya.
Brilinya. That is a nice name. Who are you? You're green. And one of the tentacles seems to point at Qualu. What is your name?
While we were just like trying hard to even produce a word.
You feel a bit of a pressure in your mind. And suddenly Galiru says, "You are Qualu. You're sad about someone named Dunala. You're worried about Dunala's daughter."
Mm-hmm. I was just like grunting and like looking around at the three of his companions, like, someone do something, but like they can't because
I think Brilinya would give him a look of like, please, maybe we can talk this one out for once in this tomb. So don't do anything just like this.
Brilinya, did you feel better when Brother Matthias was dead?
Now it's Brilinia's turn to be silent and just shocked. Her head whips around. She looks at.
You still seem scared. You seem scared and uncertain. Taliel, all of your friends are dead, and you are sad. But you have new friends, don't you?
How do you know this? Yes, I do.
Vale, you sacrificed your arm to save your friends. Ubtao, I think Ubtao likes that.
I should hope so. It cost me an arm. I hope it doesn't cost me a leg, too.
That was a joke.
It was a joke.
I don't know if it was funny or not.
I mean, you know, kind of black humor, I guess one might say. Hey, listen, you've been down here for a while. I'm sure that you've played, like you've said, around here. Do you know how to move around here, or you know, which boat we should take? Which one we should, you know, where we should go? You wouldn't have to know anything about that, would you?
I don't know exactly where you have to go, but I know that sometimes these big stone rooms turn.
All right.
And then other things happen. And I know
right.
that there's something ancient and dark even further down.
Of course there is.
I've been here for tens of thousands of years. I know a lot of stuff if you want to ask me questions. I can tell you things. Do you want to know how you're going to die?
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
That's...
I don't know that.
Hey, black humor. You learn fast. Oh. Well, perhaps you could tell us, if we hopped into these boats, where we should sail to or row to.
If you got into one of these boats, you'd only really be able to go paddle all around these giant gear things. All the way over there, and one of the tentacles points far to the northeast, but really is only pointing about 15 feet away at the hexagon that you had all dropped down into. There's a waterfall that drops in from far above. A little while ago, something fell in there. And then there's a metallic clink as a skull with a key head, one of the skeleton keys, the one that Dunala was holding, is placed on the dock by this creature. I'm sorry if you wanted any of the other stuff. I ate it.
No, that's all right. You're a bastard, by the way. Metagame-wise, you're a bastard. Look, no, that's quite all right. Appreciate this.
The boats won't hurt you, though. But there's not really anything to see down here. I can't see what you have to do, but I know that people go through these rooms and they do something and then they turn. And sometimes I hear screams, and sometimes I smell horrible things. And sometimes things come into the water. The Dark One consumes them.
You're really selling this Dark One.
I don't like the Dark One.
Yeah, trust me. Haven't met the Dark One. Probably not going to like them either. So, I guess our only option is to go back through the rooms. Look, Gleerul, is it going to be okay if we go back through the other rooms for a little while and leave you here for a bit? We'll come back.
I guess so. I haven't seen Gora in a while.
Gora?
Gora was the little man who used to come down here and feed me once in a while.
Oh, right. What do you eat? Do you eat the crabs?
Sometimes, but mostly those are for the door.
Yeah, the door's kind of an asshole, you know that?
I don't like the door. I've tried to talk to it, and it never wants to talk to me. It just wants crabs. Feed me crabs. And if I give it crabs, all it does is open.
Well, that's really unfortunate. All right. Well, look, I don't really have any food, but I do have one more live crab if you'd like it. If you're hungry.
Yes, that would be very nice.
Okay. Well, here. So I'll just hand them the crab.
It sort of suddenly, almost horrifyingly, opens this massive maw at the end of the dock. Just a massive circle of teeth. But you still hear in your mind, you hear this childlike sound of, ah, and you chuck this phosphorescent crab in, and the crab is gone in an instant. But the voice you hear in your head goes, that was so good. Thank you, friends.
Hey, you're very welcome. So listen, Gleerul, we're going to go. We're going to go back. We're going to try to see if we can backtrack and maybe open up some of these rooms and not die horrifyingly painfully or scream. And if we have a chance, we're going to come by, maybe see what we can do to help free you.
That would be lovely.
You got it, man.
All the Dark One wants to do is avoid the coming of the Death God, which it believes heralds the fall of divinity. But I don't believe that. I don't even know what that means.
Fair enough. All right, well, tell you what. We're going to go now. So I hope that crab helps you out for a little while. And maybe we can come back and have some fun. Play some games. Would you like that?
I would love that.
Excellent.
You are
All
the
right.
nicest of anybody I've ever seen come through here.
Well, you know, everyone deserves a little bit of common decency.
You better be careful. Watch out for the Bone One. Serac is his name.
Don't worry, we're going to make sure he's the one getting bone. You know what? Never mind. But don't worry, we're going to defeat him.
Well, if I see you again, I promise I won't devour you whole. No, they're my friends. And this creature seems to be Gleerul seems to be becoming slightly agitated.
Right, time to go.
Answer cue.
Yep. We'll see you in a bit, Gleerul.
All right.
Yeah, and head back through the door.
All right. You successfully avoided an encounter with an aboleth.
Great, because that's terrifying.
And it
That's
came
the
down to a
proposal.
50-50 roll on the die.
We haven't avoided it yet as Qualu unsheaths his weapon and dives headfirst into the water and beats it up. Just kidding.
And we
Please
will
don't.
Cool.
leave you there.
Yeah, we're taking off. We're
And the
taking
door
off.
closes behind you.
Yep. And I threw my
I
last
dare you to
crab.
kill
So
me 9 times.
I don't know. Can you be like redigested 9 times? Like, how would that even work? I mean,
You'll
we
find a
just
way.
eat your brain. You know, again, don't know how that would work.
Oh, here we go. All right. You bid it farewell, and you feel this sort of as you close the door, you feel this sudden almost emptiness for a moment, as you all realize this thing had connected its consciousness to you telepathically and had been communicating with you. And despite its childlike innocence, there was something darker that was lurking there. Something ancient and something powerful. And I think that's where we're going to go ahead and take a break. I don't know about you, but I need to use the restroom.
Mhm. Likewise. I'll tell you about it later.
So we will go ahead and take a 10-minute break. And when we come back, we will continue with the Gears of Hate, or what this episode is called, Grinding Gears. All right. We'll see you in just a few minutes. And we're back. Having carefully good lord, having carefully dealt with the childlike aboleth lurking in the lake and the slightly annoying door that only wanted to eat crabs, you find yourself back on the other side of the door with no place else to go. Would you just simply, well, I guess there's no place else to go. You do have the stairs leading up, which Qualu and Taliel now know where they go. But if you wish to progress forward, you will have to backtrack all the way back to that original hexagon or pentagon in which you dropped. Is that what you would like to do?
I mean, I think that's what we should do. I think that's our only option.
All right, so let me find that. This is area. So you find yourself back in this area with the strong scent of decay. The walls are covered with riveted sheets of iron. A wild garden of sickly plants grows in the middle of a rotting compost that takes up most of the interior, with a narrow path that hugs the walls, and in the middle of which is the 6-foot-tall rusty sprinkler. In the ceiling above the sprinkler is a 10-foot-wide shaft leading straight up, which is how you got down here in the first place. The only other exit is to the northwest. Is that where you would like to go, or do you want to do something else in this room? Anyone?
So she talked about the rooms moving. So there must be a way to move them, or at least maybe someone else is moving them. But no one's moved them yet.
There must be a mechanism somewhere. or a special room or something.
Right.
I would agree with that. Perhaps it would be in the corridor beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Before we go though, like in this compost heap or whatever, is there anything in there? Like, even if I did like a cursory glance, not really wanting to put my hands in there, but just looking around.
you sort of stomp around in the muck a bit, kind of kicking it around, maybe feeling around with your feet. It's just rotten vegetation. A lot of it seems to be fed off of the moisture that's just around because of the lake. Something probably activates the sprinkler in the middle of the room, though you're not sure what. And you don't find anything else in there as you kick around in it.
Okay. I think just shrugging my shoulders, I'd probably go over, like, kind of hugging the wall a little. I'd go over to and just kind of like peek my head through into that next, like down that little corridor into the next.
And Taliel had previously also looked in here. Looking in this way, you can sense there's a strong acidic stench that fills this chamber. The only other exit seems to be opposite at an angle straight across from this room, from the entrance that you're now standing in. The walls are also in here covered with riveted sheets of iron, and the pockmarked stone floor has a large puddle of gray slime in the middle of it. Friezes along each wall just beneath the ceiling depict 5 black dragons. Basically, on each of the 5 walls, there's a frieze of a black dragon near the ceiling. Most of the room, you can see, I'll bring up the map again. As we look at this, let me get rid of the aboleth. Galiru is no longer necessary. So looking in that upper left pentagon, you can see where the gray slime is. You can see this sort of along the walls, those rectangular bars. Those are the friezes. And you can see the only other exit out of this room. What would you like to do?
Go through that exit.
All right.
Yeah, but skirting the gray slime on the floor.
So you're going to avoid the gray slime.
Just wait. Before we go in, just hang on a minute. Would I know anything about dragons?
Give me... Go ahead and give me a history check.
All right. Don't fail me now. Nope, I got a 6.
You don't know anything about dragons. You know what dragons are.
Yep.
But you don't really know much about the differences between the different types of dragons.
Fair enough. That was kind of a roll to meta, but
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So on the other side of the that passageway, you see there is about a 10 or 15 foot hallway that goes at an angle and then slightly curves to the west another 10 or 15 feet. And you can see you're able to avoid it, but along the edges there's a little bit of this gray slime. And then you see that this room that you enter into is 25 feet north and south, and about 25 feet east and west. A 4 foot high, 7 foot wide iron lectern in the middle of this rusty iron plated room is topped by a slanted control panel. Set into the control panel are a gold lever with a star-shaped handle, 2 dials in red and blue, and 2 buttons of the same colors. Wall engravings beyond the control panel show 5 groups of circles with a small crystal embedded in the wall under each one. The crystal under the configuration labeled 3 glows bright green. 3 6-inch diameter rusty iron pipes jut from the wall above the engravings. And I know you're asking yourself, how in the world are we supposed to picture this? Well, I'm going to show you. This is what you see. In the middle of this room, the lectern has the blue dial on the left, which appears to have 3 positions. The red dial on the right with 3 positions. The golden star lever, a red button, and a blue button. You see the 3 pipes up above the engravings on the wall, and you see 5 different configurations. Looking at them, they seem to match the pentagonal shapes of the rooms and the gears. And you can, for the first time, see that there appears to be a 3rd gear and pentagon room to the northeast. The 3rd one is illuminated. Taliel, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are currently inhabited by the spirit of Unk, yes? Or are you still inhabited by Kubazan?
Kubazan, I made.
You resisted Unk.
Yeah.
Which spirits do you guys have? I'm trying to remember.
I have Unk.
You have Unk. You have Kubazan. Vale, who do you have? Do you still have Yep. I tell you what in a minute. You have What was that? I'll tell you what in a minute. You have Obalaka, I believe.
Oh, yeah, because I was muted.
Yeah.
And I had said Obalaka.
So,
And I have the cat one. I can never remember his name.
oh, you do have one.
Mhm.
Oh, you have the Kamadan.
Kamadan, yes.
Shagambi.
Shagambe. I'm writing that down now.
All right. So as you are looking at this, only you, Brilinya, hear Unk in your mind. Oh, this is indeed a complex puzzle. I think if I can study this, I could probably figure it out. Give me an hour.
Hour? That's...
It is a very complex mechanism. If given time, I think together we can figure this out.
I think Brilinya would turn to the rest. Unk has offered to try and figure it out.
Anybody?
Okay. I mean, if Unk wants to do that, then I guess.
It'll take an hour, though.
Oh.
Which you could use, mechanically, you could use as a short rest. If you decide to choose that. I don't know if you need a short rest, but...
Perhaps... Do you think it's worth a shot?
I mean, it doesn't hurt to know. We obviously, this must be the gear room. We found the control room for it. But I don't even know what the puzzle is that we would be trying to solve.
There's no writing. Is there no writing? If we're gonna do a look around.
I'll bring it back up. There is no writing. It does appear that the etchings on the wall potentially represent different configurations of the pentagons. You can also see that there are symbols in either in different directions on them.
The gaps too look like that's where the doors would probably be.
And if we believe that the one with the light on is what we're in position right now, well,
That looks right. Which means there's a third room.
but if you're looking at it, if this is right, and we've gone through the room, so that little, I don't know, pie shaped, I don't know, what does it look like, a table thing at the bottom is the where we were,
Mm-hmm.
then the star is where we are.
Mm-hmm. That seems right.
And if you're looking at all the rest of them, there's only 2 that open up to the star room, which is number 3 and number 5. So if we were to change anything, we would be effectively cutting ourselves off from going back.
It probably means one person is in the control room and the others would be in the room.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that.
Yeah.
At this point, Taliel's going to look around the room itself to see if there's anything else in this room. Like, it seems, or is it just a square room?
Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Yeah. Oh, that's a 18 on the die. So for a dirty 20.
Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong area. That's for something else I brought up. Let's see. Looking around this room, you do not see anything. You do notice in the southeastern corner there is a bit of that gray slime. But beyond that, you're not seeing anything to indicate, well, anything. Did you guys decide you were going to wait around for Unk to study or something else?
Perhaps. I mean, yeah, Brilinya would be looking at it, which I think would probably allow Unk to begin looking at it, hopefully. I mean, unless Unk wants complete silence.
No, you already hear in your mind. Right, well, there's the star icon, and there's the blue one that has 3 positions. The red one has 3 positions. The red dial and the blue dial. They're configured this way. Pentagons. This is the 3rd of 5. That means there's 3 times 5 is 15. And it's just constant mumbling of somebody trying to solve a riddle.
So I think too, Taliel's going to be looking at that going, somebody's going to have to stay back to move these gears. And right now, the first 2 rooms are the only rooms that are connected. So if we want to get to that 3rd room, you guys will have to go back to the middle room, and then we change the configuration. But the person will be left here.
I have a suggestion on that.
Yes, Vale?
On a pointy yak.
Well, Yak can't move these things.
Why not?
Yak can't move these things. Yak doesn't have any hands.
You don't need hands. You can take it in your teeth and you can move them around as you need it.
What am I going to move? You don't even know what this thing does.
Well,
For all I know, I touched that gold lever and I turn it into dust.
You won't turn into dust. Come on.
Well, you go ahead and you touch it and you tell me, you prove to me that I won't turn into dust.
I think that perhaps we should all stay in here first. Try out slowly, carefully, which one does what. Maybe.
And then hopefully get it back to this configuration at least. So, because we know this one we can get out again, right? Because that tower goes all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, if this is the control room, they must have been able to get out somehow. I think perhaps moving the dials, or they were dials, right? The little things.
Yeah, like the red and blue thing were dials. Like, just you can go, just move them into 3 positions.
Okay.
The left is the blue dial, the right is the red dial. They have 3 positions each. There's a star lever that is currently in the up position, a blue button, and a red button.
Which are opposite of the blue dial, the red dial. Gotta love that. Not to make it confusing or anything.
So there's also the rooms, the little rooms. We know that the one with the table on it is where we were, and the one with the star is the control room. And we still have 3 others, even one in the middle room where we were.
Yes, and if to get to that, somebody would have to go back in that middle room, and we would look. It looks like we would have to move it to position 1 or 2.
Right. So I think.
Perfect.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I moved it to the Facebook chat so you guys can look at it at your leisure without us having to be stuck on that. So you can study it as much as you want.
Do those pipes are there, right? That we see?
Yeah.
In the picture?
Yep.
Berlina wants to quickly look at them. See if are they like, can she see through them, or how high are they, first of all?
Let's see. They are.
They're filling the red head height. So if you get it wrong, they spew the acid all over your face.
They're above the engravings. So I'm gonna say that they're probably at about 7 feet up.
And if what we're seeing in the picture is kind of real, like we're seeing this kind of goop hanging from the pipes, and then all this goop on the floor, I'm afraid that this room might fill up from those pipes. And then, does it smell acidic in here too?
Oh yeah,
or is that just the room?
Yeah, you've got a bit of that acidic smell. That seems to be everywhere, particularly since you went through the most recent Pentagon room.
I would hate to be in this room if this fills up with acid.
Is there any way we can cover the holes or the pipes? I don't know if the force would be that. It might just.
Looking at the pipes, it's conceivable that you could, if you have something, you could probably. They're 6-inch in diameter.
Okay.
But it looks. I mean, if you had something that you could do it with, it looks like you could conceivably plug them up.
I don't know. That's a good idea. It might just create pressure. Well, I say we should move the dials first. They seem a lot more fixable than buttons.
I mean, it's a good point. Hang on a minute, though. Looks like both of them are in position 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't see symbols like the symbols on these. we can't tell which one, like what's what, right? Like if we examine the top of the,
There's no labels on this control panel anywhere.
of course there isn't. Oh, good.
So do you think we should do blue first or red first?
I like the color blue better.
Okay. All right. Berlin is going to turn the blue dial
To the left.
to the left.
All right. You turn the blue dial to the left. Do you hold it or you turn it and let go of it?
Turn it and let go.
You turn it to the left, and when you let go of it, it goes shkoom. But as you turn it, it goes, you hear and feel this that persists for a good minute. And the light, the green light, goes out under configuration 3 and now lights up under configuration 2.
Oh.
Which would show you that the leftmost room, the one you just came from, the entranceway is now pointing to the south.
So that means, yeah, we should be kind of locked in here.
Mm-hmm.
Try turning the blue one to the right and see if we get back to 3.
Okay. Then Brilinya would turn it and then let go, same way, but to the right.
It snaps back to center, and 2 goes out, and 3 lights up.
All right. That was lucky.
I don't know if I want to try the red one.
I am concerned of what the others are now.
I mean, if we're just trying to get to the other rooms, now, I mean, there could be traps that the things are setting off. I mean, we don't know. But if we're just trying to get to the other rooms, it looks like position 1 will allow us to get into, like, if somebody were standing in that middle room when it turns, that number 1 would allow you to get to not only that third room, but that whatever the squiggly lines mean.
We do have an issue, though. How are we going to talk to each other or communicate?
Good question. I mean, we can talk to each other for the first little bit, because in 3, if you're standing in the middle, we can just shout. But once the thing turns, there'll be 2 walls, it looks like, at least between this control room and not.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that all this time you've been down here adventuring together and you can't communicate with your minds?
No.
No.
Oh, well, that sucks for you.
Like, can you communicate with your mind?
No.
Oh.
I'm just saying it would be cool if you could.
Super handy.
Walu can communicate with his arm, with his mind. Watch.
I'm concerned that the other buttons may be able to turn on and turn off traps.
Good idea. Good thought.
What do you guys think? Should we just rely on the blue, or we could try the red dial?
Well, yeah, I think we could try the red dial. maybe just well, I mean, the thing is, give me 1 second here. Where's that damn? Sorry, I'm trying to look at two maps at the same time, but only,
I need to retcon something.
Oh no.
When you turn
Oh,
it's not too major. But when you turn the dial and you illuminated 2 and 3, you did not hear the. You just changed the illumination.
Okay.
So we didn't hear the grinding,
Right.
but did the wall, like, if we look down the corridor after the light 2 illuminated, did we see the passageway through, or did we see a wall?
It looks the same as when you came through it.
Okay, so
I
we
was
didn't hear
mistaken
the-
when I said that you heard and felt the grinding. The blue dial appears to just change which orientation is illuminated.
Okay, so we need to try the red dial.
Okay. So Brilinya would turn the red dial to the left.
Roll me any die.
Oh no.
Oh no. I don't like that.
Any single die and tell me what the result is.
Any single die. Okay, I'm gonna roll. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna roll a d12. Because I never get to roll d12s, and they're really nice.
Choose a D7 or something.
It's a 4.
Okay. Hello.
Okay.
Hello, who's there? Brilinya. I did not expect to hear from you so soon. I can't see you. How are you in here with me?
Oh.
It's Galibru.
Yeah.
Have you forgotten my name already?
It is it's quite difficult to pronounce, I must say. Probably not much harder than Brilinya, but Brilinya would turn to the rest of them, and it's Galibru.
And the red dial did snap back to the middle when you let go of it. But you appear to have a telepathic link to Galibru right now.
And the rooms didn't change. Like, I would look back out the corridor to see if the rooms rotated, if they're still in the same position as we came through.
Nothing's changed. I hope you're having luck in your search for whatever it is you're looking for.
Well, so far we're not dead yet.
I guess that's good. I don't know what it is like to die.
Me neither. That's something we have in common. Do you guys think I should turn the dial to the right?
Can the rest of us hear, or is it only Brilinya that could hear the voice?
Only Brilinya.
Okay.
Oh, wait. No, you all can hear it.
Oh.
I kind of want to leave that one on.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so what if you turn the blue one to the left, hold it, and push the blue button?
Okay. Brilinya would do that.
You're going to turn the blue dial to the left.
Hold it and push the blue button.
All right. You turn it to the left, and you notice that the green light does not change. And you press the blue button, and you hear... And you feel this shuddering throughout the room. For as long as you hold the blue button.
So if Brilinya lets go of the blue button, does it stop?
It does, and then the light changes to configuration 2.
And then what would happen if she just pushed the blue button without turning the dial? Nothing?
You press the blue button, and now you hear. Taliel, looking down the hallway, would see that the passageway into that room is now blocked.
Galiru, are you still there?
I am still here. This is fascinating what you've discovered. I don't know what any of it means.
Neither do we.
Did you see anything move?
All of the chambers rotated.
Okay, that's good.
Let me see. You went with configuration 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so we now have a way to talk to each other through maybe if Galiru would kind of pass messages, I guess, back and forth.
You want me to be a messenger for you? That sounds fun.
Oh,
If you wouldn't mind.
Honestly, I felt like that could have gone either way, right
Yeah.
then and there. It was like that could have just
You
for
want
a
me to be
second-
messengers? What do I look like?
I am 20,000 years old. I rival the ages of the gods, and you want me to play as a FedEx employee? Done.
Done.
I will admit my heart
Um,
stopped for a second while I waited for the answer.
We should test to see if we go out of the room, if we can still have the connection. So then Brilinya would turn it back to the right, back to configuration 3 on the blue dial, and press the blue button.
So you're turning it back to configuration 3, press the blue button, and the passageway is now open. It seems to be back in its original configuration.
Qualu, will you go out of the control room and see if you can still talk to, I keep wanting to say Gleowin, but that is another
Wrong game.
Wrong
Galiru.
game.
I will go
Galiru.
talk to Gleowin.
Yep.
Oh, Marquise. Come here, Marquise.
There's no one named Galeowin here, but there's some little one called Everchild.
Oh no.
What is a child doing here?
I hate
Child's play?
Everchild.
Me too. This sounds like a dumb name.
So are you gonna?
Yeah, I'm gonna look for Gleowin.
All right. Can you still hear me, Qualu? Can you
Mhm.
still? I'd say. As you enter the Pentagon room, you
I'm going
lose.
through a tunnel. Hold on.
You you lose all connection. It appears as though the psychic connection, the telepathic bond, is only in this chamber.
Oh, I just had this. Of course, it was going to be too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so much for that tunnel.
All right. Well, what we can do is
Sorry, I missed that. So when Qualu couldn't hear,
Once Qualo left the room, Qualo could no longer hear Galiru. The telepathic bond does not extend beyond the room.
okay, so the blue changes the configuration, and the blue button makes it happen. The red allowed us to talk to
Red dial.
the red dial.
Turn to the left allowed you to telepathically communicate with Galiru.
To Galiru in this room.
Correct.
I'm afraid of pushing the red button because I don't know. Red buttons just mean like don't do it.
No ho on the row-ho. Sorry, that was a old X-Files reference.
Brilinya is going to turn the dial to the right, the red one.
Okay, you do so, and you feel that same absence that you felt when you left Galiru's presence before. Turning the red dial to the right has severed the telepathic bond.
What if you do it once more to the right?
Okay, Brilinya would do that.
You have now peered into a portion of the universe you are not allowed to see. No, I'm just kidding.
You're divided by 0. No.
Nothing. Instant TPK. Campaign over.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Twice in 1 week. No. Nothing happens when you turn it to the right again.
What if you go to that room now, Kualu?
Okay.
All right, Kualu, you are now in the Pentagon room, and there's nothing.
Nothing.
Do I dare push the red button?
Every aspect of my body is saying no.
Look,
But
let's be 100% honest. How many times has in any form of art has pushing a red button really been all that bad? I mean, let's be honest. Like how many times? Oh, come on. Oh, I think you're overblowing it.
all of them?
I say we push it.
Yeah.
Push it real good.
Just okay. Brilinya would push it.
You're pushing the red button.
Yeah.
A 6-inch thick wall of iron drops from the ceiling in the doorway, sealing the passageway between the control room and where Kualu is in the other side.
Oh no.
Why did you push the red button? I told you not to push the red button.
Holy said to push the red button.
No. But does anything else happen though?
From what you can tell, nothing appears to be happening. I need to check something real quick because you did rotate the rooms twice. Let's see.
I believe now is a good time to say that I don't take any responsibility at all.
All right, you moved it to configuration 2. All right. Okay. Kualu. You are in area. Okay. You can see in the Pentagon room that you are in that to the northeast and where is it? This is so confusing. To the northeast and to the southwest-ish, you can clearly see into the underground lake. To the southwest, you can see that stone tower. Oh no, wait. Correction. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, you can see into the lake, basically. Looking in either direction. I was looking at the wrong Pentagon.
So just want to clarify, when we pushed the red button, the rooms moved and the door slammed down?
Nope. Did you guys move it? Oh, sorry. You moved it back to configuration 3.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this puzzle. It's the rock tumbler all over again. Yes. All right. So you're in configuration 3. So it's back the way it was. You can see into the original chamber you dropped into, which has the compost in it. There's a iron door blocking passage into the control room where everybody is. And Qualu, you can hear movement coming from the compost pentagon. You hear a sort of
Well, what are you doing in there? Stop eating that.
and that is coming from the original center pentagon that you had dropped into. The rest of you are trapped in this small room with an iron door closed. What would you like to do?
Panic.
Qualu, what are you going to do? Are you going to investigate these sounds? Are you going to stay where you are? What are you going to do?
He's so the room to the slurping noises. He has no direct way of getting to it, correct?
You do.
I do?
Wait, the room that what?
Oh, slurping.
Yeah,
The
you do.
compost room.
You're in configuration 3. So it's basically the original configuration.
Oh.
So you can walk back to the room that you came from where you hear that sort of slurping and sloshing sound.
Okay, yeah, so he's 100% gonna take out his staff of striking and slowly and cautiously investigate what's making the slurping noises. As he doesn't want to get surprised by some brain sucker.
All right. So you ease your way into the room. Make me a stealth check.
All right, big numbers. That's not a big number. 9.
It beats my 8.
Ooh.
You move quietly with your staff in hand. And you see that there's moisture everywhere in this room. And you can see that sprinkler in the middle of the room is dripping as if it had recently been run. What was previously just compost around this room is now 3 mounds of compost shambling about in the room.
And if they haven't noticed me, he's gonna go backpedal, backpedal.
Make me another stealth check as you leave the room.
All right, it's a little bit worse this time. It's an 8.
As you go to turn and move or backpedal, you click the end of the staff of striking against the wall. It's just a subtle move, but all of a sudden, all 3 organisms stop and then shift direction and begin moving towards you.
Everyone, he shouts down to see if they can hear him.
On the other side of the door, nobody hears anything. Connor, I would like you to roll for initiative.
All right, it's whack-a-mole time, I guess. It's a big old 11.
All right, 1 second, because I did.
See if I can solo a fight against 3 shambling knights.
I'm using the combat tracker, but there's only collections. Here we go. My encounters. All right, I don't know what's happening with this thing. Okay, so we're gonna do it this way. Start building. I'm going to use Manage characters, number of characters, manage
One.
characters.
One character.
Hide.
Oh, you're trying out the combat
Yeah.
thingamajigger? Oh, cool.
Yep. I'm gonna try it with just. All right. So we'll do that. Number of characters 1. I'm gonna add in Shambling Mound. Add 2, 3. Oh yeah, that's about what I expected it to look like. X out of there, and we're going to save encounter. We're gonna wait. All right, number. One second. I think. No, it's not that. Oh, good lord. Sorry. This thing is confusing. I'm trying to make it work. What did you get for your initiative?
A reverend.
Say that again?
11.
That's weird. Before we went live, I was able to get this to work just fine. Now it's not working for me. It's not showing you. Let me try one more thing. Number of characters.
So the combat worker doesn't work. Then that means I kill them all.
Encounter. Well, I had entered. I don't know. Screw it. I'm just going to do it old-fashioned way. All right, you got an 11. Yeah, so the first Shambling Mound is going to come towards you. And the first one is going to make suddenly 2 vines lash out at you. That is going to be a 13 and a nat 20.
All of those will hit.
So you, from the first hit, you suddenly take 13 points of bludgeoning damage. As it slams you against the wall, the second one is going to be, so critical is max, then roll again. So you can take 34 additional points of bludgeoning damage. So basically, this vine sort of grabs you, Qualu, and goes against the walls of this passageway in between the two of them. And now it's your turn. You are not grappled.
I will smash it with my Staff of Striking. As I kind of take a deep breath in and go for a resolute attack of Fighting Spirit. Get advantage. I get 10 temporary hit points. Use my bonus action. Right. And I make, what, 4 attacks per turn. This is all going to be Great Weapon Master Fight style.
All right.
So it's going to be a 27 to hit, and then a 23 to hit, and then a 20 to hit.
Yep. All of them.
And then a 19 to hit.
Yep.
So that's four hits.
All 4 of them are going to hit.
Okay.
Qualu just wanted all the XP for himself.
Yep. I'm Gandalfing it right now. That's going to be 20 damage for the first hit. 20 for the second, total 40. 22. And then 23 plus 5. So 20, another 23, then another 5 force.
You just lay into it and start hacking away at this thing. And then the other 2 come in. So you're going to get 4 attacks against you. As vines are just slamming at you. That is going to be another crit. A 12. A 10.
And does not.
And a 20. Dirty 20. No. Correction, 24.
The 10 misses.
The 10 misses. So 3 of them hit you. So let's do the crit first. That's going to be another 20 plus. So 31 bludgeoning. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. How many hit you? 3 hit you? Okay, so 4. That's going to be 11, 6, 17, another 25 bludgeoning on top of that. You are just getting hit by these vines and slammed back and forth in this sort of narrow passageway between these two things. It's your turn.
I will continue this battery against the one that I'm hitting before to make sure it just dies. I'll do Fighting Spirit again. So I can keep doing this until I run out of uses. 10 more temporary hit points, get some advantage, can do great weapon fighting thingy. And I forgot to reroll my 2s and 1s in the last turn, so oh well. Anyways, the first, it's going to be 23 to hit, 16 to hit. I don't know if 16 hits.
16 hits.
Okay, perfect. Then 27, and then another 23, so it's another 4 hits.
Yep.
This time I'm going to reroll 2s and 1s like I should. That's going to be 21 damage. And then 23 damage.
Right, hold on. So with that second hit, you destroy the first mound. It collapses into compost. So you can move your other 2 attacks into that second mound.
Perfect. And then that'll be 24 damage for this third hit. 4 plus another 7 force. And then the last hit does reroll. Okay, that's going to be for 22 bludgeoning, and then 7, 12 force.
So another 37.
And it's still living, right?
It is.
I'll action surge. Keep going.
Yep. Another 4 attacks.
Yeah. Is just the one left, or are there 2 more?
There's 2.
Okay. All right. Again, a great weapon fighting. To a natural 20.
All right.
And then a 20,000, something big. Then
You're
26.
You're trying to beat AC 15.
Okay, cool. And that's another 28. Okay, so it's crit and 3 hits. Okay, so crit. Let's do the crit first, because I have no idea how much damage I'm doing on a crit. So I do max plus a roll.
Plus reroll any dice.
Yeah, so that's going to be 12 for 2 charges. 12 plus 8 is 20, 30, 38, and then another 8 because of my orcness. That's 46 plus 2d6 and 2d8. So, what number to say? 46?
Okay.
And then that's another 9 plus reroll 4 plus 13 plus 3. 17 on top of 46 for the crit. Which
Okay.
is a big number. That's 63, I think. Okay, that's the first hit. And then
17. Hold on, that'd be 1. So the crit takes out the second mound.
okay. And then my other 3 hits go to the last guy.
Yep.
That's gonna be max damage. It's 26 damage. And then 25 damage. And then 24 damage. 26, 25, 24.
75.
You probably could have just said, "Hey, I
And
just
that is
killed
my
it."
turn. And that is my turn. Actually, yeah. I use my bonus action. We're good. Your go, sir.
Okay.
This is the part where the ancient black dragon comes in.
It's a
because the DM's
19
tired of you.
and a 13.
Both those hit. The Avalus says, like, you killed my pets.
So that is going to be... Whoops, the wrong damage die. Both of those hit, so that's going to be 7 and 11 is 18 plus 4, 26. And
26 damage.
as these two grab you, because I wasn't doing this initially, as these two grab you and slam you against the wall, you are grappled by these vines because both attacks hit you.
Perfect.
And it is your turn.
Well, don't need to be ungrappled to smack him to death. So, lastly and finally, use up my last fighting spirit for the long rest. Get those temporary hit points. Get that advantage. Get myself some great weapon fighting. All right, trying to beat a 16, you said?
15.
Going to beat a 15, so 7 or higher on the die. 12 on the die. Hits. 19 on the die, that hits. 17 on the die hits. And then 11 on the die hits. Perfect. So 4 hits, which is 25 damage, then 21 damage with the reroll. 24 damage. The reroll. Ooh, and max 26 damage.
Many of its vines are slashed off as you grasp at this thing, but you don't quite kill this one. This one being stronger than the other two. You feel
Perfect.
yourself being pulled in towards its center.
I use my bonus action to second wind then, as I steel myself for its onslaught of whatever it's going to do to me.
The stench of rotting vegetation surrounds you. And I need a... Well, no, because you're grappled by it. You are blinded and restrained, and you are suffocating. Well, you're not fully suffocating yet. What's your con mod?
+3.
So you have 3 rounds before you start to suffocate. I think that's how that works. Or is it 3 minutes? Can I
3
remember?
rounds sounds pretty cool, so I'm going to go 3 rounds.
All right.
but-
You are blinded and restrained. You need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. That is going to be a 17.
Okay. So that succeeds.
So if I'm blinded and restrained, what can I even do?
Well, let's see if you're.
Can I punch or can I do I have to pull myself out?
Let's see. Your restraint becomes 0. Attack rolls. You have disadvantage in dexterity saving throws, and all your attack rolls are at disadvantage. But you can basically try to cut your way out of it.
Yeah, you know what? I like disadvantage more than using up my turn to punch out of it. So I will attack and try to bash it from the inside to strain and rip and tear until it is done. I will. Yeah, thank you for getting the reference, Mike. All right, disadvantage time. It's going to be a 20 to hit. And then a nat 1. Then a 19 to hit. And then a nat 2. So that's not going to hit. That's 2 hits then. Which
Yep.
is 25 damage. And then, that's a reroll. 24 damage for 49 more damage.
So, for cinematic purposes, this battle continues on with these 3 mounds. Qualu fighting against rising vines, cutting his way free, getting slashed and smothered and restrained, cutting his way out, until finally this, after nearly an hour, this shambling mound completely engulfs Qualu. And we see Just this mound, alone in this silent room. And suddenly, the staff of striking bursts out, and Qualo emerges with bits of compost and vine clinging to him.
Mess with me and you get a bad time.
And you all actually hear this because you've been in this room trying everything you can think of to get out of here for an hour. And suddenly, the iron door that slams shut when you press the button opens, and you hear Qualo bleating from the other room like a goat as he says this. Qualo appearing in the archway, bleeding, wounded, sweating, covered in rotten vegetation, perhaps breathing a bit heavy. What would you like to do? I just for the sake of filling in, I'm not trying to take player agency away from you guys, but there was literally nothing you could have done for an hour. And since Qualo got stuck on the other side, I just chose to go cinematically to fill in that hour. Unless anybody has any objections and wants to result to ritual murdering of each other or something.
Qualo comes in, it's the Hunger Games, just everyone's like pointing guns at each other.
Ooh, that was a good exercise.
Mysteriously, everything's on fire.
Taliel's like, step away from the control panel.
Yak's wearing a party hat.
The good, the bad, and the ugly theme are playing.
It's just Vale whistling the tune. Vale's in the corner going, yeah, whoa, woo. So what would you like to do?
I think Brilinya rushes forward. Qualo, are you all right?
Mm-hmm. I'm fine.
What?
A bit of a stroll I had to take. He's like covered in the viscera of shambling mounds. He's kind of a bit, a bit bruised and battered, but otherwise pretty fine. Nothing that an old half-orc like him can't handle.
What happened to you?
Oh, just had to beat up some shambling mounds, no biggie. You looked at me funny. There's 3 of them.
Oh, well, all right. Now we know not to press the red button again. And I think that Brilinya is going to cast some healing light on Qualo. Which is, I'll cast 5. Which will be 18 points back.
18? 1-8?
1-8.
Only 1-8? Oh, that's not very many 8s.
All right. What do you want to do? You know how to, at this point, you've figured out how to select which configuration you want. And you figured out how to make that configuration happen. You know that pressing the red button causes the door to close for an hour. You know that turning the red dial to the left and right gives you, connects and disconnects you telepathically from Galiru, and you know that the blue dial is what selects the configurations. The blue button rotates them. The only thing you don't know is what the gold star lever does.
Maybe we've had enough.
I would also say, since you did end up spending an hour in that room, Unk has been studying these controls, maybe periodically having you go look at 3 again. Oh no, go look at 4. No, go look at 5. 1, 3, 2, 4. The red button? Don't press it, just look at it. Okay. And after an hour, right before the door opens, Unk says, okay, I'm glad I've had this time to study it. I have concluded that this is one of the Seracs mysteries that cannot be solved.
Oh my god. No.
I'm so glad we didn't wait for that.
I kind of wanted you to, just because of that. So you figured out 4/5 of what the control panel does. It's basically just figuring out what configuration you want the rooms to be in and how you want to go about it.
All right. So if we want to get to that third room and that little squiggly, whatever that symbol means, we want number 1. That somebody has to stay back in this room while it happens. Who wants to stay?
I can.
Okay. And you'll be able to talk to I want to say Glaywin now because you guys...
Galiru.
I know we won't be able to once we leave, but maybe she'll be able to see us or something, or keep you company at least.
If we switch it to 1, you'll be able to go into the third room as well.
Exactly. And past into it. Like, it looks like we'll get into, like, if we're in the second room, when you change it, we can get into that, whatever that squiggle is, get into the third room and see whatever that top one is too. Looks like bricks.
How big are... Oh no, I guess that wouldn't matter. Yeah.
Qualu
Okay.
will sit down for a bit. Qualu needs a bit of a breather.
Okay, I think that works. I'll turn it to 1.
Wait a minute.
We have to get into the other room first.
Oh, right.
Yeah, if maybe 2 or 3 of us go into that center one and we move it so it looks like there's supposed to be some kind of a room there. Maybe that's what we do. We go in there and we touch something, we activate something, we hit something, we kill something. I mean, who knows?
Exactly.
But we'll just pick the 2. So why don't you sit down and take a good breather, man. You did a hell of a job fighting. Taliel, you and I bust something up.
And to get back, give us half an hour, and then change the rooms back.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't even worry about that. Like,
I mean, what Qualu could do is he could wait in the other room, that first room, and you guys can bang on the wall. He would probably hear that.
Oh, maybe.
So if you guys go into the center, Qualu goes into the one on the left. I'll do the control room to 1, and then you guys may be able to bang on the door when you're done.
But then that means we're also leaving Qualu alone, hurt in the room
I'm not hurt.
with the dragons.
Mm.
I'm not hurt. I'm fine.
I can listen for anything. If I hear anything at all,
You'll change back
I'll
immediately.
change back and you'll know that something is wrong.
Okay. It's planned.
Okay.
Okay, so Taliel and Vale are going to the center cog.
Yeah.
Qualu's going to the left cog. Brilinya is going to control and switch to configuration 1.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I fully understand that. 3-way party split. Okay. So you all get in position. Brilinya, you wait the pre-agreed upon amount of time. And then you rotate you press the blue selector to the left twice until configuration 1 is illuminated. And then you press the blue button. And all around you, Qualu, Taliel, and Vale, you feel the room you are in. Begin to rotate, the doors shifting, and you see open underground lake visible. And then Qualu, as the room is rotating, from each of the 5 dragon freezes, you hear dry, stale air comes spitting out of the freezes' mouths, but nothing else happens. It appears that whatever may have once been in these dragons has long since dried up. Vale and Taliel, the configuration rotates until the door you came through has now rotated all the way around to slightly east by northeast, and the other door has rotated around to the north. Let me get this right. So that's... As this happens, while this is happening, the sprinkler in the middle of the room begins spewing water everywhere. Let's see. So that's 5-9, and that's 5-8. Okay. There is an opening to the north, Vale and Taliel. And there is the opening to the east by northeast, into the another pentagon-shaped room. Where would you like to go?
Well, I think first, because we're in this room already, is to look into the north area.
Right, you look up into the north area, and you see a rotting corpse clad in studded leather armor lying on the floor, mouth open and hands gasping at its throat. Wrapped around one of its arms is a yellow band.
Oh no!
There are skull-shaped nozzles set into the walls of the cramped room, and there is a little bit of a as if something was in there, but is no longer there. The rotting corpse in the middle of the room, you recognize. It is the human Cormyrean leader of the Company of the Yellow Banner, Lord Brixton. He wears studded leather armor and carries a sheathed long sword with a dragon-shaped hilt. Next to his body is a Dungeoneer's pack. What would you like to do?
I had hoped he'd made it. I feared for this. It's good to see he made it this far.
You knew him.
Yeah, he was the last of my party.
I'll start walking up to the area. Is there any sort of buttons or levers or traps or?
You're in the same area where Taliel is?
Yeah, but I'll just walk up to the north area where where that little room is now.
No, there's no buttons, no levers. Just
Okay.
Lord Brixton's body, his draconic sword, and his pack next to him.
I'd like to retrieve the sword and the pack.
Looking through the pack, if you choose to keep its items, you can go ahead and add all of the usual items you would find in a Dungeoneer's pack. So you're going to have rope. I think there's like a crowbar, pythons, all that kind of stuff. You also find a pouch containing 6 carnelian gemstones, each of them worth 50 gold pieces. When you find these, as you open the pouch and then make the gems slightly visible, you hear a chattering of golden teeth next to your ear. Those look delicious.
I will give him a couple because he has been so
All right.
patient.
He chomps away at them. The dragon, the sword that you pull from Lord Brixton, has a minor magical property. It is a regular longsword. The hilt is shaped like a dragon, and you know this from traveling with Lord Brixton, that the bearer of this sword, while it is on their person, can speak and understand Draconic. And that is all you find in the small room to the north. There is a faint scent of gaseous, some sort of gas that is coming from those skulls, but it may have already been released in the couple of times you've been shifting these rooms around.
I think we might be done here with Vale. What do you think?
And I don't see a single lever or anything.
Nope.
There's nothing to. Okay. I guess we are then.
Next room?
Yeah.
As you head over to the other pentagon, you walk into this pentagon area and you see a couple puddles of this gray-green slime on the floor with that acrid scent to it. Look and see where we're looking at here. We're in area 1. So you do see to the north there is another opening leading to a narrow hallway. But strangely, in this room you see on each of the 5 walls 5 teak wardrobes standing against the ironclad walls of this chamber. Each has a door bearing a carved image or scene. Puddles of gray slime cover parts of the floor. The room has 2 exits, the one you came through and the one to the north, which you can now see as an adamantine portcullis blocking the passage. Set into a metal plate above the portcullis is a row of 5 red crystals shaped like drops of blood.
What are on the wardrobes? You said they each were depicting something?
Yes, they are. One of them depicts a grinning night hag with a swaddled human infant in her arms. Another one is carved to depict the face of an ornate clock. Another one depicts twisted, screaming humanoid faces wrapped in chains. Another one depicts ghouls gnawing on bones. And the last one depicts an army of orcs clashing with an army of hobgoblins.
Do these mean anything to you, Vale? They're all horrific in some fashion or other.
Yeah, basically, it looks to me like I don't want to open a single one of these wardrobes, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I assume we do have to open one? Is the path to the north, you said, has the portcullis in front of it, right?
It does. And above that is the 5 blood drop shaped rubies.
I'm probably I'll go up to there first and have a look. Is there like an inscription or a plaque or something by that portcullis?
As you get close to it, you can see that the portcullis itself does, in fact, appear to be made of adamantine. The bars are spaced 4 inches apart. You see the crystals above it, but you do not see any plaques or inscriptions, any levers, or anything.
You know, I have an idea.
Okay.
I'm probably not going to like it, but I do have an idea. I like to look beyond the portcullis and cast Misty Step and pass through it.
Nice.
You do so. You are now on the other side of the portcullis.
And Mike, you're a jerk.
4-way party split. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. This seems like the worst idea. I'll turn back and look to Taliel. Right. I'm just going to scout down a little bit, have a look, see what's down this passageway. And then, I don't know, maybe we can sort this all out quickly and move on to more horrible things. So, yeah, I'm going to head down the northern pathway.
All right, so you traverse...
Carefully.
You carefully move along this hallway for about 30 feet, and then the hallway widens to 10 feet and it heads to the left. After about 20 feet, you see stairs leading downward. You are looking across a lengthy hallway. About almost 100 feet across.
Yeah.
Graven images of rotting corpses decorate this hall, and the floor is littered with tarnished coins, pieces of armor, broken shields, axe heads, and other bits of scrap metal. At the far end, you see an archway.
Okay. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go back to Taliel and tell her what I found. I don't know what it is, but I have a feeling that it's kind of dangerous to traverse, so I don't know. I mean, should I risk it?
How far does it go? Like it's
Around 100 feet. There's an archway at the end, which leads further on to something else. I don't know, but all the broken bits of armor, and clearly there's damaged weapons from something.
You thinking previous occupants of the hallway?
I don't see. That's the odd thing. I mean, you don't think it would be a lot of folk coming down at this point. This isn't exactly some sort of easy lock to unlock this puzzle, whatever this is. But with the amount of armor and weapons, broken ones at that are there, it seems strange to me.
Well, I won't ask you to risk yourself, but do you know what's beyond the archway?
I don't. Couldn't see that far. Did I see a light in that archway or no?
You could not. It was hard to even see what the archway itself was because you're looking across the long ways, relying only on your dark vision.
Right. Okay. Tell you what. Here's what we'll do. Nice and simple. I'll go down, walk down the hallway, right to the archway, and then I'll come back. At least I'll be able to have a look as to what's going on in the archway, and then that'll be it. And we can go back and report to the others.
Okay.
All right.
If you run into any trouble before then, you come back first.
I will definitely come back. I definitely do not want to die. And so I'll walk back down, walk down the stairs, and just have a look to see if there's any like monsters or any creatures or anything other than all this broken weaponry and whatnot.
You walk to the bottom of the stairs, by which time you're about 60 feet away, and you can just faintly make out the archway. You can make it a little bit better as you get to the bottom of the stairs. You see that the keystone of the archway is adorned with an iron bull's skull, which is biting down on an ivory ring. As you reach the bottom of the stairs and your foot steps down into the proper corridor, first you notice that about halfway, a little past the halfway point, there appears to be a passageway leading to the south. It looks like a staircase leading down. The other thing you notice is your clothing is shifting. It feels different. It feels looser. Every single non-magical item in your possession begins to corrode, rot, and break. Any non-magical weapons and armor you have is now useless. All of your mundane gear is now non-functioning. If you attempt to use anything on your person that is non-magical, it will break. The iron has become brittle. The leather has become rotted. The cloth has become as if it were moth-eaten and rotten. Your clothing is rotting on your very form. What items? I believe you had a magic weapon. Did you have magic armor?
Yeah, I do, yes.
So your armor is okay, but your small clothes and
Yep.
underneath are sort of your tidy whities are now Lucy Grays.
And then my rope's gone.
Yep, your rope's gone. Your pack is falling apart on your frame.
Yep.
The frame is falling apart. All of your gear is sort of collapsing.
Yep. Tinderbox gone.
Yep.
Short sword gone. Water skin gone.
Yeah,
Torches?
there's a wet as your water skin rots through and the water drops onto the ground. And you even notice that the water itself looks tainted and murky.
And what about the torches? Torches done?
The torches, as they drop out of your pack, they sort of break. They've become brittle, dry, useless wood.
Rations? Any food?
All your food is now rotten.
Okay. Oh, and the short bow. Can't forget that.
Yep, short bow. The string instantly decays, and there's this sort of as the wood, the bow sort of snaps out and then breaks because the wood itself has become brittle. So yeah, pretty much anything that you own that's non-magical is now useless.
Fair enough. All right, well, I'm just gonna go right back upstairs.
Honestly, you couldn't use the bow anyway. You only got one arm.
Yeah, I know, but it's like
always look on the bright side of life.
That's right. So anyway, I'm gonna go back up the stairs and go around. Significantly with less stuff now. Go back to Taliel and right. Well, that was a bad idea.
I think she sees your base. You have your armor stills on, right?
Oh yeah, armor's still on.
Okay, so yeah,
not naked.
Free balling it, but he's not naked.
You can definitely see that maybe the underclothes are not necessarily in the same.
The armor sits just a tad bit looser on him.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, as soon as I stepped into the corridor, all of my stuff rotted away. Packs, anything. The only thing I've got left on me is this dragon armor, this amulet of health. A bead of force. Luckily, this ring of protection, my rapier. And what about my holy symbol?
I will say that your holy symbol, I'm going to say that as you reach for it, you find the holy symbol sort of tucked in near the neck of your armor, but the leather cord that was tying it around your neck has rotted away.
Okay. I'd probably find some way to attach it to the amulet of health. Anyway, so it just stays on. Right, well, that's everything.
Did you find out anything new?
Halfway down the corridor, there seems to be maybe a stairwell. I couldn't even see past into the dark, past the archway. So
there's probably something, I'm going to guess, important or something worth protecting, because that's a nasty spell. Here. Oh, you're still on the other side of the portcullis, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'll Misty step back into the other room.
Here. And she'll hand you the Dungeoneer's pack from her
I didn't even think about that. How convenient. How convenient that you found another pack.
And I'm thinking too, you lost your short sword, right? You have your rapier, but you lost your short sword.
Yeah, but I wouldn't worry about it.
I have a long sword here if you want it.
True, but I've only got one arm, so
All right.
it's okay. But I appreciate it.
She'll keep it, I don't know, somewhere on her body, in its sheath somewhere, stored away.
All right, you've learned of the dangers of that long hallway. You're back in this Pentagon room with these 5 wardrobes. I would say at this point, probably maybe 10 minutes has gone by. You had instructed Brilinya to shift the chambers back after half an hour. You're muted, Kaeryn.
We also thought we could try to bang against the walls if
True.
One question before, while I'm still thinking of it, the portcullis, is it on the side of the hall, or is it on the side of the room so that it would move with the room?
It does not move with the room.
Okay, so the portcullis is guarding that particular pathway. Okay, good to know.
So you're in a room now that you either can go back the way you came, or you have the wardrobes.
Oh, I kind of want to open a wardrobe because my character.
I really don't want to open one either right now.
So how about we go back to the other room and try knocking on the wall where we think the corridor should be?
Brilliant. Yeah, let's do that.
Do what now?
Go back to the middle room, the middle pentagon, and go to where we know the corridor is on the other side that leads to the pentagon number 1.
To where Qualu is.
Yeah. So kind of trying to orient ourselves on where that would be and then knock on the wall on that one to try to see if we can get a hold of Qualu to let him know that we're ready to come in.
I would say, since Qualu and Brilinya are listening for these, Qualu, you would hear, coming from that direction, you would hear this banging sound. The walls are lined with bolted metal plates. So you hear this. Which I believe was your signal then to alert Brilinya. And then I assume you do so, Qualu? Alert Brilinya?
I will alert Brilinya, yes.
And then your plan was to restore them back to position 3?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. So, after 3 hours, we are literally back to almost exactly where we started. But you have learned a couple of things. And I apologize. I lost track of time. I had intended to end around 11:30, and it's almost midnight for me. So I think this is a good spot to end. You figured out a couple things. This is definitely a complex puzzle. You've found a very devastating hallway that does have an archway beyond it, and does appear to have a stairway leading further down. And you know there's other configurations of these rooms. So we will explore that further next week, and hopefully the internet will be more cooperative. So since we had to stop streaming. There's nobody really to talk to in the live chat. But thank you to everybody who has tuned in, whether you're no matter when in the future you are watching this. We hope you enjoy it. And be sure to check out, if you haven't already, like and subscribe, comment, all that good stuff on the YouTube here. And check out the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Mini-Terrain Domain, where we have lots of D&D games going on. Different days of the week. If you just head over there, the off-air graphic will tell you what games are coming up each day. So with that, I'm going to thank Mike, Kaeryn, M, and Connor, without whom it's just me talking to myself for 3 hours. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to end this game the same way we end every game, and you can say it with me if you want. Meta